If you hear a little bit of noise in the background, it is raining today. And I just woke up and you are hearing vehicles going down the main road where I live. And you can hear the water splashing as they race into work this morning. Anyway, got another spiritual download in the form of a rah-rah session today. I hope everyone's doing well. There was a phrase back in, I want to say in the 90s, 2000s, where people say, I'm bringing sexy back. Well, sexy is here amongst us, but there's something else I need to bring back, and that's common sense. Hence, one of the main purposes for my channel, addressing certain issues and behaviors and actions that we find ourselves doing and engaged in that just don't make no damn sense. As I receive my spiritual downloads, I also receive messages that were given to me from the past, from people who have passed on. And it's funny that when people pass on, you don't think about what they tell you until after they're gone. It's like their messages resonate. The older you get, the more you experience things. And I've noticed in previous generations that, our people might not have had much, but they took action when it came to problems. Most of them did. Problem came up in the house, it was addressed. Somebody took some type of action. And they acknowledged the problem. They acknowledged the presence of the situation. If something was off, it was acknowledged. If it wasn't acknowledged in their house, then they knew that somebody on the outside of the house was going to see it. And they were not going to let things get out of control as far as the household was concerned. Yeah, I know everybody's not perfect, but I'm just saying overall, in general, we just had a earlier generation of people that just took a more of a proactive attitude when it came to taking care of their houses. They didn't for the most part, a lot of them didn't worry too much about the outside until the inside was straight. And see, that involved a certain level of commitment, loyalty, and common sense. And on this particular audio, I want to talk about common sense. Now, the catchphrase nowadays, which unfortunately is true, is that common sense is not so common, and it's true. You can see it by the way people behave, how they conduct themselves. You can see it. And there are dire consequences if you don't use common sense when it comes to things in your life. If you know you need an income in order to live independently, you go get one. A legal one, so you could be able to live freely. Okay? If you know that your educational skills aren't that great and you know you're going to need them, like for instance, if you're not great at reading, if you're not great at doing numbers, but you know that you're going to be engaged in a situation in the future that's going to require reading, is going to require numbers, is going to require some sort of math. If you know that's going to happen sometime in the future in your life, get the education. We are living in a time now where you have knowledge at your fingertips, literally. And it just pisses me off when I see people run around and say, oh, I didn't have a chance to learn that. I don't want to hear that shit. Because I came up during a time, I was born before there was a World Wide Web. I was born during a time and was raised up when computers, mainstream desktop computers first came out. And believe me, it was not user-friendly. I remember taking a class in high school, and it was only for advanced placement students. And there was only a handful of us in the class. And it was Introduction to Computers. This was in the 80s. And I remember in that class, we literally had to learn languages. Computers had languages they used to communicate with each other. The most common language is called BASIC. And it was all programmed language. Then you had something called COBOL. And I don't remember what the other one is, but those were the two main ones. And you couldn't just flip on the computer and all of a sudden you see this desktop and all these icons. It was nothing like that at all. It was a blank screen, and you had to type in a command just for it to come on. You had to learn the formulas. You had to learn the jargon, the things that computer programmers learn now to program the things that you use at your fingertips. That's what we had to learn in Introduction to Computers. And I mean, I'm kind of glad I know it now, but since everything is so advanced, it's irrelevant to me at this point. But the thing is that I was born during those times. I was born during the times where we had home phones and the long phone cords and headsets. And I remember when I was very small, rotary dial phones before push button phones. I remember all these things. I'm part of a very privileged generation where we have seen a lot of advancements of technology. So for me, at the age that I am, over 50, to see people come along and say that they can't do something because they don't have the time or they don't know how, it boggles my mind. And it's just not using common sense. It's just laziness. It's pure laziness. That's all it is. And you can criticize me in the comments till the cows come home. I don't care. And if you're a younger person who doesn't understand what I'm talking about, Google technology and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Google technology from the 1980s to the present and see how technology has grown to the point where we have the world of information at our fingertips, and then you understand my frustration in this. Now, I don't want to hear the little boo-hoo cry stories. The information is there. If you can set up a social media profile, if you can download things on TikTok and Instagram and things like that, then you can learn better reading skills. You can learn better math skills. I don't want to hear this shit. Okay, so that's in regards to education. In regards to relationship, we're lacking some serious common sense. Serious common sense. I was talking to my boyfriend the other day, and I shared with him a conversation I had with a friend of mine. She was involved in a relationship for 9 years. Yes, she was involved in a relationship 9 years with someone where they lived domestically together and did everything together. They were, play husband and wife, and I'm just, if you and your partner are satisfied with that and you're happy, that's fine. But the problem comes in is when you have one partner that wants a situation like that and the other partner deep down who doesn't but gets involved in it anyway because they figure that's the only way to hold on to that person. This is a discussion y'all need to have before you even engage in something like this. Make sure this is something that you both want. Or if you're involved in a polyamory relationship, the 3 or 4 of you want. It just depends. Common sense should tell you if that person that you're involved in is not on the same page and does not have the same relationship goals that you have, common sense should tell you that it's not going to last long. But some of y'all throwing common sense to the wayside, hoping that God, Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah will go ahead and change their mind. And I'm not saying that it won't happen, but boy, that's a big gamble to take, especially if that person has been around for a while and this is the way they've been moving all their life. Am I saying it's not possible for people to change? I'm not saying that at all, because if you listen to my channel, that's all I talk about is making changes. But what I am saying is that you've got to sometimes trust your own instincts. If you see that that person has constantly moved where they have not been steady, have not been committed, and have been acting the same way in regards to relationships with a happy-go-lucky, just no holds barred, no type of commitment type attitude, and has never been involved in a steady relationship, what makes you think it's going to change for you? It's not. And this is where common sense comes into play. Common sense helps you look at things for what they are and helps you decide whether or not you want to put up with it. And a lot of you are lacking common sense because you don't know who you are. It's possible to get it, yes. So what we're going to do, and what I have been doing here on my channel, if you're one of these people that has been dealing with a whole bunch of fucked up situations throughout all your life, whether it's your fault or the other person's fault, and you look back on it and realize it involved just the utilization of simple common sense, from this point on, we are bringing common sense back. They said they brought sexy back in the 90s. We're going to bring common sense back because apparently common sense has been on that same island that Tom Hanks was on in Castaway. And for those of you who haven't seen that movie, that was one of my favorite movies. But anyway, yeah, common sense was on the island with Tom Hanks and Castaway and that little soccer ball that he turned into a person, Wilson. Yeah, it was Tom Hanks and common sense and Wilson on a remote island because the rest of the world didn't know where they were at. The rest of the world thought they was dead. That's where common sense was. Because apparently the rest of the world does not know where it is, whether it's alive. So we're going to bring common sense back. And I hope some of you are along with me on this because there's just too much craziness going on. I've heard about the shooting and I see the high-profile trials in regards to nasty divorces. I see all this foolishness going on and thinking to myself, I said, if only just a little common sense was used. And I throw myself into this because I was caught up in it too. I thought common sense was on that remote island with Tom Hanks and the soccer ball. But it's not. It's present and it's here. And there are some of us who've actually woken up and have started to use it. So join the rest of us and our crusade to bring common sense back. Okay? That's my rah-rah session for today. I hope you guys have a great day and be blessed and walk in power, peace, prosperity, and protection. Okay? Bye.